Vibration was tamping down a little bit. There you go. Cape Tower, helicopter 211, Tango Bravo.
Helicopter 211, Tango Bravo, Cape Tower.
Yes, sir. Good morning. On the Cape Copter's ramp back to the left and depart down Foxtrot.
Helicopter 211, Tango Bravo, approved as requested. Wind 0706,
Go ahead and pick us up now.
3034, departure in the rest uncontrolled movement area. Use caution.
1 Tango Bravo, Roger. You'll notice we got your dad in the back, so we're going to be a little more nose heavy. So as you pick up, you may have to come back just a teeny bit more on the stick. There you go. On up. Good. Now let's just kind of mosey down over to Foxtrot here. This is sort of letting our engine warm up a bit. Make sure it's not going to shear off the magneto drive gear. That's not too bad. All right, let's go ahead and depart now. All right, down on the collective just a little bit. We're about a little bit too much power there. All right, that course line will get you out to where we're going. You look up here, don't look up here, I'll look up here for you. But we're at -2 degrees up here on your, figuring your manifold pressure if you're at sea level. And 0 is 23.5 continuous. I like to run it at an inch or so below that. So about 22 is about perfect right where you're at. Well, add a little bit of a little carb heat there just to get us out of the yellow. So got a question for you. And I asked him about this out at Robinson Safety School when I was first out there. Like, okay, so if we're flying along in the middle of the winter and it's really cold outside, 20 degrees or whatever, and you put on the carb heat, but the gauge still stays in the yellow. See our gauge down there? We're just right at the edge of the yellow stuff. So if we were outside flying and it was 10 degrees outside or colder, 5 or whatever, you put the carb heat full on, you're still in the yellow. Is it okay to is it safe to fly the aircraft that? Because technically you're in the yellow. The answer is yes. And the reason being is, the rule of thumb is cruise flight, you pull enough carburetor heat to get you out of the yellow cruise flight. And then, when you're coming in for a landing at manifold pressure less than 18 inches or less, you're supposed to apply full carb heat, right? Okay. Well, we're in cruise, and if we were still in the yellow, it's like, man, is that safe or whatever? So their answer was yes, it's safe. Just go ahead and fly full carb heat on. And the reason being is, like right now it's outside 23 degrees outside. If there was moisture in the air, it would actually freeze and precipitate out, so essentially the relative humidity when it gets down, freezing and below is quite low. So, your chance of carburetor heat is pretty remote actually. Or I'm sorry, carburetor ice rather, is pretty remote. So, yeah. So, if you're ever flying along, you put full carburetor heat on and you're still in the yellow, that's okay. It's just a really cold day outside and it's not quite enough to get it out of the yellow. Like about an even break on ground speed, indicating about 90 knots, and our ground speed's 91. So not much wind out here this morning, which is good because if it was windy, it'd be cold. Oh, get out, man.
Good day to fly.
Yeah, man. Become quite the wimp when it comes to cold weather anymore, man. I hate cold weather. I'd like to die of a suntan or something. Where else, Yeah, he tanned himself to death.
Just glad we're heading away from the sun.
Yeah, at least you can see where you're going, man. All right, let's turn on a little bit of cabin heat. You guys mind a little heat? Try that, see what happens. All right. Okay, well, let's go up to about, let's go up 1,500 feet. Okay, so when you start instrument flying, one of the things you'll learn is, you know, there's two different segments of instrument flight. There's basically terminal procedures, which is a fancy way for saying, you know, when you're taking off and when you're landing, you know. And then there's the en route segment, you know, when you're up here and you're just cruising along going from here to there, right? All right, so on the en route segment, you're basically going to be flying pretty much at a constant power setting. And at that constant power setting, you'll find what you want to discover is what airspeed keeps you pretty much in level flight, right? So you just kind of keep, so we're pretty much leveled off. You can see we're right at zero, showing an airspeed of around 87, 88, maybe 90, something like that. That looks pretty darn good. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 90, 88 to 90 is going to be level flight. Let's say that we let our nose come up. But watch what happens. You raise your nose and you're starting to climb, and guess what also happens? Your airspeed starts to decay, right? Now we're down to 84, 85, whatever. So if you were to look down at your airspeed and you saw that, 82 or 83, then you're likely climbing, right? You don't even have to, you know, and that's, you'll see that change. You know, it's a pretty subtle change. You'll see it usually before you see much of a change in the other things. Now we're going to let our nose come down on purpose here. So now we're descending. Look where our airspeed is. 92, 93, whatever, you know. All right, so somewhere in the neighborhood now. So now just bring us back to about 89. 89 or so is going to be about level flight. Kind of cross-check with your artificial horizon there. You're pretty much right on it, so that's going to be level flight. See, there you are. So the reason I mention that, if you look up and you say, okay, I'm going 92 or 93 like that, you go, well, I'm probably a teeny bit nose low, you know. So you want to ease back just a little on the stick there to bring it back up to level flight. So anyway, you'll usually find kind of a narrow range of, like in this case, say 89 to 91, whatever, something like that. It's going to be pretty much level flight. And if you're going faster than that, then you're likely in a descent, and if you're going slower than that, you're likely in a climb, right? So that's one more thing to kind of keep in your scan, you know. So, and everybody scans a little bit differently, but basically when you're scanning, you know, you're looking at your artificial horizon, and then over here to VSI, over to airspeed, you know, down to your altimeter, back up to, you know, and you're kind of keeping your scan game, and then over here look at your GPS if you're on course, you know, and you'll develop your own kind of typical scan where you're moving around things, and different aircraft are easier to scan than others, so to speak. In other words, you're in an airplane, you know that you can trim it out. You have trim, and you can trim the thing out for a certain